Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. As you can tell from the title, this is about, are you in a relationship as a female with a male? Once again, this is a heterosexual relationship between a man and a woman. But as a female, are you a helpmate there to support your man, or are you just trolling, aka nagging? So I would hope that you want to be there as a helpmate and not there to nag your man, because nagging really is not something that men want. So this is part 2, a helpmate or a trolling nag. And I'm doing this because it's just part of a series entitled, reflection will generate improvement. I feel like it should generate some improvement. Sometimes we have to have self-reflection, and that not only means reflecting on what we do individually, but reflects on what we do as we relate with other people, and therefore those positive frequencies can be felt out into the community. So this right here, yeah, you can be strong, independent, and all alone. A lot of times Black women, and I can't speak on anybody else, so I can't speak on this type of relationship because I don't know anything about that, but I can only speak on Black relationships. I can't speak on this mess right here either. But it's important not to nag. That's the point I'm getting to. And as I said in the first video about trust, everything ties together and hopefully into a nice mosaic of information that will lead to changes if necessary, or at least lead to self-reflection and reflection that you have. Maybe it leads to conversations that you have in your relationship. But I came to the conclusion that nagging is not the best way to get through to men. So if you have an issue, number one is communication. You have to communicate how you feel about something. Ladies, I'm talking to ladies in these videos for the most part, but of course men are going to listen too, and they can agree or disagree with what I'm saying. But when it comes to let's see, I put in the Google thing, a nagging Black woman, now you get all these unholy unions down below, but I'm just going to keep it right here for now. So when it comes to the nagging versus being supportive, it comes with a lot of work and patience, in my opinion. And the reason why I say, are you being supportive or are you being a troll? Because to me, when I look at it from a man's perspective, when you're nagging him, you're basically trolling him. You're basically just no help to him in that particular situation. Say your man is going through something at his job where he wants to communicate his hurt feelings, or he wants to communicate that he is not being heard on the job. He doesn't want to come home and not be heard by you either. You're putting him in a very awkward and difficult position, and there's only 2 ways to deal with it psychologically, which is fight or flight. He's either going to fight or he's going to flee. Well, he knows he can't fight you, and I'm speaking from a relationship where there is no physical abuse. So if he can't fight, he's going to leave. And that doesn't mean he's going to leave physically. That could mean that he's going to leave psychologically. He's going to leave mentally. But I think one of the most important ways a man will leave is spiritually. You know, we all deal with spiritual or psychological attacks on social media all the time by way of the trolls and all that mess. But you don't want to bring that attitude into your home, because that's just not right, I don't think. So for me, my personal experience I've had with trolling and nagging was where where my significant other had a time where he wanted to, you know, just improve himself financially, professionally, and he had to take an exam in order to do this. Well, one exam that was coming up, and he had to take 2 more exams after that first one. So there were 3 exams he had to take, really. And I kept nagging him about, are you going to study for your test? Are you going to study? Have you studied yet? I can get you some index cards and we can make flashcards and all this stuff. And I realized, like, halfway through all this, going to the dollar store and doing all this, that I just needed to calm down and let him figure it out. So that's one of my first things. You know, try to let him figure it out. You're not his mother. You can't baby him. And if you're dealing with a man who requires you to be there nagging him all the time, then you're probably dealing with someone who is not ready to be in a mature, you know, relationship where you can let him be free and make decisions on his own. What I've learned is, especially in that situation, is planting a seed is more important than drowning the seed in water and care. And what do I mean by that? So planting the seed, like, oh, you know, your exam is coming up. Do you need some quiet time to study? He was like, yeah, I do need some quiet time, you know, on Saturday. You know, let's not go anywhere this Saturday, maybe next Saturday. Like, okay, cool. And that was it. I left it at that. So that Saturday, I found myself something else to do. And I didn't bug him. You know, I texted him early in the morning because I knew he said he was going to start studying around 10. I just let it go. You know, it wasn't no big deal. And I'm not so dependent on him being there all the time that I couldn't just let him have his 3 or 4 hours to study. And then I offered him, you know, afterwards, you know, when you do that, you plant the seed. Of course, you have to water the seed. So in watering the seed, him being the seed, his improvement is the seed. You know, his motivation, his desire to do better, his desire to do more for himself. That is the seed that has been planted. And, you know, you got to give it time to germinate. You have to be patient with that. You know, Gab Talk Media has talked about that. You know, you got to be careful with how you tend to your crops and stuff. And, you know, you have to be careful with your seed. Now, he was talking about seeds as far as children. I'm talking about a seed as far as an idea or concept that can improve upon your life. So in germinating the seed, you have to give it the right nutrients, give it water, you know, give it the number one nutrient it needs, which is the sun. And ladies, we have a lot of warmth and comfort. We have a lot of natural energy that just radiates from us that we can use to help that seed germinate. And what I did was I said, well, after you're done studying, you know, you'll probably be hungry. So I'll make you something to eat, you know, after you're finished studying. I'm not going to be cooking while you're studying because that's making more noise. That's more distractions. So yeah, after you're done eating, I'll go ahead and, you know, I'll go ahead and make you something to eat then. So he was fine with that. And we moved on. Another instance where I was nagging him was really something simple. It was like his car or something was making a funny noise, and I was like, oh, you need to get that fixed. You know, that was the wrong choice of words, and I realized that now. Like, me saying you need to do this, need to do that, obviously he's a man, he already knows dealing with a car, it's a mechanical, it's a machine, you know, it's mechanics. He knows I need to get this fixed. But you saying, oh, you need to get this fixed, it don't sound right, you know. Once again, sound like his mom, you know. He's just like, oh, he just laughed it off, like, okay. And I had to follow it up, and I was like, you know, I hope you get that fixed, because I want you to be safe in your car. You know, I wasn't just nagging like, get it fixed. You know, I told him, I said, oh, you need to get that fixed, something, get that looked at, because I don't want you getting in a wreck or nothing. I don't want you, you know, get hurt. I don't want anything happening to you. So I didn't have this look like, no, you know, I didn't have that look or that sound. I didn't do that. But I was like, I don't want you to get hurt. You know, what if there's something serious? And I'm a what if person. I'm a type A personality. So I'm always like, what if? And I like to have contingency when it comes to different situations. But he was like, no, it's cool. It's nothing big. It was like the fan or something. Or it was something with the fan or something with his car. And I was like, oh, it was no big deal. But I thought it was a big deal. You know, ladies, we have to remember not to be so, you know, blow things out of proportion. So extra when it comes to certain things. That's another thing I'll point out. So I'm not going to write down a list of all these things. I don't have a script I'm reading right now. It's all just coming off the top of my head. But yeah, that was another case of, I guess, halfway nagging, half nagging then, I guess, half trolling. But all of us have had these situations where we've been nagging, aka trolling our men for little things that we blow out of proportion. But there's a time also in the same vein of nagging where you're concerned, you know, where you have concern. And so what I want to break down is how, and I'm doing it every day in my life too, and getting better and better at it, is how to determine the differences between nagging and showing concern. You know, and that's different for every person. You know, but I think that us as Black people, it's important that we sit down and we have these discussions about these topics, because we have to be as strong as possible if we're going to make it through this situation that we're in. Building strong relationships, therefore creating stronger families and, you know, great communities and nations and so forth. So I don't have much else to say about the nagging piece. I will say, oh yeah, when I was younger, it was, I think the reason why I nag from time to time, or I show concern that turns into nagging that gets blown into trolling from time to time, is I will remember when I saw my parents interact that way, and my father not really saying too much about it, him being more like, okay, yeah, whatever, not really, you know, just not really paying my mom a lot of attention. And I think she nagged, she still does, like, you know, why you didn't do this and why you didn't do this, oh no, she goes on and on. But I think in looking at that situation and then looking at my situation and other people's relationships, I can say with almost complete certainty that it was because the woman does not feel secure. So go back to that trust thing, where you trust yourself, you trust your relationship, you trust your significant other. You have this common ground that you're on with each other, open lines of communication. And I think that could be the root of a lot of the nagging that women do. They don't feel secure, they don't feel heard, because men have different ways of responding to you, you know. You could say something simple like, and we think it's like simple, like, hey, can you take the trash out? He hears that as, can you take the trash out? Like, do you have 2 legs and 2 arms to take the trash out? I think that's how he hears that. You know, like you can't do it. And he gonna be looking like, yes, I can take the trash out. You know, like, duh, of course I can take it out, silly woman. I got 2 arms, 2 legs. Hell, like, why you don't take it out? That's in his mind. Like, can I take the trash out? She don't even know. You know, that's how I think about it. That's just how I think about it. Of course, I don't know for sure. I'm not a man, but if you just say, you know, oh wow, the trash is getting kind of full. If you have some time, you know, can you take out the trash at some time today? Or, you know, it just make it more of a request. I don't know if I'm making sense, but, you know, will you take the trash out sometime today for me? That would be great. You know, instead of saying, can you could probably say, you know, will you? Like, different ways of communicating, because I think we need to reevaluate how we communicate with one another too. You know, and start thinking about how we talk to each other and how we request certain things. Instead of, you know, commanding something, you are requesting something. But you all let me know. I don't want to go on too long. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back with another video within the same series. Reflection generates improvement. And I'll holler at you in the next one.